Tottenham were just 3 minutes away from the UEFA Super Cup. 3 minutes. In the 93rd minute, they were leading 2-1 against Paris Saint-Germain. The trophy was practically in their hands, the fans already ready to celebrate. Then suddenly, the collapse. The equaliser, the final whistle, and the penalty shootout. And in the end, the cup flew to Paris. A cruel twist, because the Spurs had done almost everything right, until they stopped doing it. Thomas Frank had set up the match with remarkable clarity. A compact 5-3-2, narrow lines, and a low defensive block to deny PSG any space. The idea was simple. Let the opponent have the ball, absorb the pressure, and strike on the counter-attack, or above all, on set pieces. PSG, for their part, deployed Luis Enrique's usual attacking 4-3-3, but looked confused, inaccurate, and fragile in building from the back, often forced into long balls or passing errors. Tottenham knew exactly how to exploit these mistakes. When they pressed selectively, they could disrupt PSG's rhythm and recover possession in dangerous areas. But the team's true weapon was set pieces. Corners, wide free kicks, long throws from Danso. And that's exactly how the first goal came about. The result of meticulous preparation by Frank's staff, who had brought Andrew Georgsson, a set-piece specialist, a figure Postecoglou didn't have, proving decisive in dead ball situations. Let's break it down. The idea was to have Romero move to the far post and act as a target to flick the ball back into the box. Thanks to a few lucky deflections and some imperfect positioning by the PSG defence, the plan worked perfectly, allowing Van de Ven to slot home the opening goal. Defensively, the Spurs were almost flawless. The central midfielders closed the half spaces, the centre-backs defended aggressively in the box, and every PSG attempt to exploit depth was neutralised. The start of the second half confirmed the momentum. Another set piece, another lapse from PSG, and Tottenham doubled their lead to 2-0. The second goal followed a very similar pattern. Romero feigned a run towards the centre of the box before moving back to the far post. This time, instead of flicking the ball in, he struck directly on goal. Thanks also to a misjudgment from Chevalier, the ball found the net. Danso even came close to a third goal a few minutes later, again from a set piece, confirming Tottenham's dominance in these situations. What is striking is how organised Tottenham were in these moments. Each player knew their role, who to mark, when to make the run, where the ball would drop. It was as if the set-piece routines had been rehearsed countless times in training, and on the pitch, everything clicked perfectly. These tiny, rehearsed movements made the difference between a goal and a harmless clearance. Until the 84th minute, everything was going perfectly. PSG were inaccurate, tense, and seemed without solutions. But then came the double turning point. Tottenham began to drop too deep, and Luis Enrique made the right move from the bench. The introduction of Kang-in Lee proved decisive. With his ability to play between the lines, receive with his back to goal, and turn quickly, he gave PSG the internal reference they had been missing until then. Luis Enrique positioned him precisely in the half spaces, forcing Tottenham's midfielders out of their comfort zone and opening lanes for central runs. Lee's movement off the ball was subtle yet constant, dragging defenders and creating pockets of space for his teammates to exploit. From the 84th minute onwards, the game effectively became one-sided. Tottenham started defending with 10 men, inside or just outside the box. Every recovered ball turned into a clearance, and PSG, although not particularly brilliant until that point, began to dictate the pace. PSG's centre-backs positioned themselves in the opponent's half, full-backs pushed high, and the midfielders occupied the half spaces consistently. Luis Enrique exploited Lee's freshness to orchestrate smoother, more controlled moves, shifting the Spurs' defensive block laterally and alternating wide attacks with sudden central penetrations. Mbaye and Dembélé received the ball in wide and advanced positions, looking for one-on-ones, while Vitinha and Fabian Ruiz moved constantly without the ball to create passing lanes. The coordination between midfield and forwards became fluid, with each player's movement anticipating the next pass, almost like a choreographed dance. The psychological effect of prolonged possession was crucial. The Spurs, forced to constantly shift sideways, lost both mental and physical freshness. Marking slackened, double teams became slower, and the internal corridors started to open. At this stage, even minor lapses could be fatal, and that is exactly what happened. In the 84th minute, the spark came. A high ball recovery by PSG, Lee receives in the half space, a quick combination, and a precise strike to make it 2-1. A goal that reignited the match and put Tottenham under real pressure. From there, the momentum swung completely. The Spurs could no longer impose their rhythm or recover the initiative. From that moment on, Tottenham's management of the final minutes proved fatal. No real attempts to control the ball, no organised progression up the field. Paris Saint-Germain had all the time they needed to reposition, think and construct. Every small pass, every subtle movement was executed with precision, and Tottenham's defence started to fracture under the mental strain. In the 93rd minute, the final blow landed. Persistent play, short exchanges at the edge of the box, Tottenham too passive and compressed. A perfect ball from Dembélé into the area. Ramos finishes, and it was 2-2. In an instant, from European champions to a penalty shootout lottery, from 2-0 down to European triumph, an almost impossible comeback made possible by the tactical error of dropping too early, and Luis Enrique's insight, which, with Lee, transformed the game. This final will remain a lesson. Until the 84th minute, Tottenham had played an almost flawless match. But to stop pressing, to surrender possession to the opponent, and to defend passively for nearly 10 minutes against a team like PSG carries a huge risk. And this time, that risk cost them a trophy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and hit the bell to never miss our tactical breakdowns.